Single Mom Success, Episode 2. Heather Wells and the Single Mom blog present Single Mom Success, the place for single moms to find support, inspiration, and the path to their own success. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to Single Mom Success Podcast, Episode 2. This is Heather. I'm so glad you could join me today, and I hope you're well out there. I just wanted to jump right into this podcast. Today we are actually discussing forgiveness, or actually the feeling of needing to forgive yourself. And the topic for today actually came from a Facebook group that I belong to for single moms. And I joined this Facebook group quite a while back, and it's a group that's for obviously just single moms. They can come in, post what they want. A lot of times it's about, the baby's dad, ex-husbands, talking about our kids and asking advice and saying, hey, this is going on with my kid. Has anybody dealt with this before? Or this is my current circumstance. I'm having a problem with this. Does anybody have any ideas? So it's really meant as a support and helpful thing, and funny things get posted and things of that nature. So it's, typical Facebook group. But there was this one post that actually caught my attention the other day, and a woman posted something along the lines of, I just realized that I never forgave myself for being a single mom. And it really jumped out at me, because the first thing I thought when I read this was, why do you need to? Why do you need to forgive yourself for being a single mom? Like, what about that makes you feel like you should ask for forgiveness of yourself or anybody? And then I started seeing the comments and the replies to this post, and it was so crazy, because there were so many women who said the same thing. They're like, yeah, I've never forgiven myself either. I've never forgiven myself for leaving my husband, or I've never forgiven myself because I'm a single mom because of a one-night stand, or I've never forgiven myself for, I've never forgiven myself for being a single mom. And I literally actually screamed, yelled at my computer monitor. I was like, why? Why do you need to forgive yourself? I don't understand that. I do not feel any guilt over being a single mom. And I'm sorry, but it astounds me. I can't even verbalize how this affects me, because I never understood this, and I still don't. I can't wrap my head around it, to be perfectly honest. I've been a single parent for my kids' entire lives, and I went into this in the first podcast. If you haven't listened to it, I highly encourage you to, because it introduces me and explains my circumstances and how I became a single mom. But I'm the single mom of 3 children. I have twin boys and a 7-year-old daughter, and my boys have one father. My daughter has another father. My boys' father has not been in their lives since they were 6 months old. He actually hospitalized my son, so he's never allowed to be in their lives, at least until they're adults, and if they want to seek him out at that point, they can. But he's not allowed to be around them for that specific purpose. That specific reason is why he's not allowed to be around them. And then my daughter's dad, he is a part of their lives. So I definitely have a different dynamic with both of my sets of children. With my boys, I don't feel guilty for being a single mom. And I never felt guilty for being a single mom. I felt guilty about other things. And here's the thing. And the reason I'm talking about guilt is because that's really the only time I feel you need to seek forgiveness, is if you feel guilty. Like, if you did something wrong, that's when you seek forgiveness, right? If you feel you've done something wrong, that's when you ask for forgiveness or feel that you need forgiveness. And I'm a single mom, or I started out as a single mom with my boys because of something he did. He did something wrong. So why would I need to seek forgiveness for something that he did? Why would I need to seek forgiveness for who I am? I don't feel the need to seek forgiveness. And I don't feel the need to seek forgiveness for my current circumstances. Because, see, here's the thing where a lot of times I think we as women, especially, kind of internalize everything. So, like, if in a certain circumstance, like being a single mom, we internalize it as like it's our fault, or we did something wrong, or we should feel responsible for our current set of circumstances, or we are, we internalize our circumstances as a person that we are. So kind of to explain on that a little bit more, as some people, and again, women especially, tend to base or think that who they are is their current circumstances. I am a single mom, but that doesn't define who I am. That's just the explanation of my current set of circumstances. Being a single mom is not all who I am. There's way more to me than that. I'm a mother, I'm a woman, I'm an artist, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a businesswoman, I am a singer, I am a giant mess a lot of times, I'm a little bit crazy, definitely a little bit bitchy. There's a lot to me. So just to say that being a single mom defines who I am is wrong. And I don't feel the need to apologize for my current set of circumstances. I don't feel the need to apologize for the person that I am. I'm currently a little bit overweight. I don't feel the need to apologize for being a little bit overweight. I don't feel the need to apologize because my hair is brown. I don't feel the need to apologize because I am 5'9". See, like, it seems silly to bring that up, but it seems just as silly to me to apologize or feel that I need to beg forgiveness from myself or anyone else for being a single mother. That is not the person that I am. It is my current set of circumstances. And to be honest, I don't feel bad about it. One stinking bit. I do not feel bad about being a single mom. And I shouldn't. And part of me thinks that maybe it's the society that we live in, and granted, things are changing, and being a single parent is definitely more prevalent now than it was back in the day. And it doesn't necessarily carry that stigma that it used to, but it still has a certain stigma attached to it, unfortunately. And I think that is also part of that driving force. Like, maybe society makes us feel like we should feel bad for being a single mom. And I freaking don't. I don't. I do not feel bad that my current circumstances are one where I am a single parent of 3 children. I don't feel bad. So listening and seeing these women post on this feed of, yeah, I still feel bad, and I could even understand if maybe the reason that you're a single parent is because you cheated on your husband and that's why you became a single parent, because he divorced you for it. I could see feeling bad about that instance and what happened that led you to be a single parent, but not feeling bad because you're a single parent. That's just where you're at right now. But I don't understand, I understand the need to forgive yourself for that action, but never a need to forgive yourself for being who you are. And I think that's where I got so frustrated, because it seems like they felt like they needed to forgive themselves. But for what? For what? Forgive yourself if you cheated on your husband. Fine. Especially, it was the past is the past, and that's what happened. And so now you forgive yourself for the action that you took, and you move on. But you're forgiving yourself for that action, not for being a single parent. You don't need to forgive yourself for being a single parent. It does. It blows my mind. And especially if the circumstances are like mine, where I didn't choose necessarily to be a single parent. It just ended up to be the circumstances that I had. I had no desire to marry the father of my boys. None. My pregnancy, actually both of my pregnancies were surprises. They weren't intended. They weren't planned in any fashion. But I had no desire to marry I have no desire to marry anybody. I have no intention of ever getting married. But I didn't want to stay in a relationship with their father, with my boys' father. I had every intention of having him be a part of their lives. It was never going to be that I was just going to write him off. That was not the intent. But once he did what he did, you're damn skippy. You're not allowed in my boys' lives at all until they're old enough to decide if they want to go find you. But other than that, I didn't decide for him to do what he did. And I don't feel the need to seek forgiveness for what he did. Now, I did go through a period of feeling guilty because I left my children with him and he hurt my son, or both of them, but almost fatally hurt my son. But even that I had to work past. I needed to come to an understanding with myself that I left my children with the one person in the world other than me that they should have been safe with. The one person in the world other than me who should have been willing to do anything, including and up to laying down their own life to protect that child. I left my children with their father. And I shouldn't feel guilty about that. I shouldn't feel bad. And it took me a while to come to terms with that, because there is that immediate guilt of, oh my God, if I hadn't done this, then this wouldn't have happened. But it's not like I did it with the knowledge of, I'm going to take my kids to their father's house and he's going to hospitalize one. That thought would never cross my mind, right? Like, you don't do it with the knowledge that that's what's going to happen. And you can go back and second guess yourself, and, hindsight's 20/20. They always say, you can say, well, if I hadn't done this, then this wouldn't have happened. And you can do that all day, every second of the day until you make yourself crazy. But really, you have to stop and realize, I can't live my life second guessing myself. And I also cannot and will not live my life feeling the need to apologize or ask for forgiveness for something that I didn't do. And even if I did it, even if I had chosen to say, look, I'm going to have this baby, you're going to be out of their lives, you have no say, I don't care, I still don't feel bad for that. I don't feel the need to be forgiven for that. Now, I do have, like I said before, a different set of circumstances with my boys than with my daughter. My daughter's dad is still very much a part of her life. And while he and I may not always get along, I oftentimes think he's a giant tool, but he is making an effort to be in her life. That does cause a set of circumstances where there are times that I do feel bad because she has her father in her life and they don't. But I don't feel guilt. I feel bad for them because they are getting to that age where they do want or need or have a desire to have a male influence in their life. Not because they, quote unquote, need a father, but because they're becoming young men and there are things in their life that are happening, and I know that they don't want to talk to their mom about it. So in that aspect, I do feel a certain sense of loss for them by not having that in a father. So, obviously I'm trying to compensate with having them talk to other men in my life, their uncles, their cousins, guys that can relate to guy things. So in that aspect, I do feel bad for them for not having that, but I don't feel guilty. That's the difference. I don't feel guilty for not providing that for them because I wouldn't want to stay in a bad relationship or try and simply find a relationship just for the sole purpose of finding somebody to be that father figure for my boys. I think that's where sometimes a lot of women do kind of trip themselves up, because they end up in relationships that they're not happy in, or that they don't find certain satisfactions in, because, or even it's in bad relationships. They find themselves in bad relationships because they were searching for something for their kids. They were looking for a father for their kids. And maybe he is that great father type figure, but he's not somebody who makes them happy. So they sacrifice their happiness to provide what they feel is lacking for their children, to sort of, I guess, get rid of that guilt that maybe they feel for not providing it. I guess I've never really understood it, and I may, if any of you can maybe provide some sort of feedback as to, kind of your mentality in that, because I really have never understood it. I've never felt that pull where I feel like I have to find somebody to fill this void for my kids. I have to find somebody to fill this void for myself. I don't feel a void. And so I guess maybe that's where I'm different from some other single moms, because I don't feel that there's something missing in my life. And I don't feel that there's something missing in my children's lives. Though maybe there is, but I've never felt that. I've always felt like I've tried to be a very well-rounded parent and provide everything I can support-wise for my kids. Again, though, obviously, like I said before, there's certain guy things that I know that my boys would like to have a male figure to talk about, but I do provide that through other family members, not necessarily a dad, necessarily. Or a father figure. So I guess maybe that's why I can't understand why some of the women that were in this group felt they needed to forgive themselves. Maybe that's why, because I don't feel that there's a void. I don't feel a loss of having a man in my life. I don't feel a loss of having a father figure for my boys. So maybe that's why I don't understand the need to forgive, because I don't feel I have anything to be forgiven for. But I guess when it comes to forgiveness, I think that one of the keys that I found to just feel, not even necessarily give myself forgiveness, because again, I don't feel like I have anything to forgive myself for, but more of a just acceptance, I guess, rather than forgiveness. I don't feel that being a single mom is anything that you need to be forgiven for. So why ask for forgiveness? Why forgive yourself? I don't expect anybody to forgive me for it. I don't feel I don't need to ask forgiveness from my family. I don't need to ask forgiveness from my friends. Because it's just like I said before, my current set of circumstances. Has nothing to do with who I am. Who I am does not change, and it wouldn't change if I did have a spouse or a significant other. How would that change who I was? It really wouldn't. In all honesty, for me, it would just be one other person whose crap I had to deal with. That's why I'm still single. I don't have the energy or desire to deal with somebody else's baggage. I have enough of my own stuff to deal with. So bringing somebody else in is like asking for more crap that I'm just not at a point in my life where I'm ready to take that on. And I acknowledge that, which I think is why I'm totally okay being single still. I don't feel that need to bring somebody else in. The sense of loss or having a missing piece in my life, I don't feel that. And I think that's where the forgiveness and acceptance comes into play. I think that a lot of times women, I guess probably men too, but I can only speak to what I know and what I felt and what other moms have talked to me about and what other women have talked to me about. Not typically a conversation that men are all that gung-ho to have, so I really haven't gotten into any deep, meaningful conversations about feelings with any of my guy friends. But I think that I think that women, we internalize so much. We feel like we have to live up to a certain set standard. And when we don't live up to that certain set standard, we feel bad about ourselves, right? Like we feel the need to be forgiven, or we feel guilt, or we feel shame, or self-recrimination. Like it's just amazing to me. And I think that a lot of women, instead of seeking forgiveness, need to more seek acceptance within themselves, not from other people. I don't care if other people accept me. I could give a shit. I really don't care if people accept me. It does not matter to me, because I am so happy with the person that I am. I am happy with who I am. I'm happy with where I am, not in the fact that I've settled. So I don't want that to seem like, oh, everything's peaches and cream for me and I can never ask for more in my life. That's not true. I'm always aspiring to more. I'm aspiring to a bigger house in a better neighborhood. I'm aspiring to owning my own home. I'm aspiring to take that dream vacation with my kids again. I am aspiring to building my business and helping more and more women out there, and growing and making enough money to never, ever, ever, ever feel like I'm struggling ever again. I am aspiring always to more. I'm always looking, I would love to be able to vacation 3 or 4 times a year with my kids and never have to worry about being able to pay for things. I'm aspiring to owning this grand, beautiful home that, I just love. I'm aspiring to be able to grow a garden that I don't kill. There's always having time to devote to it so it doesn't die, things like that. So I'm always aspiring to more. But that doesn't mean that I'm unhappy with my current self or circumstances. I think that that's a big key part of it is, acceptance of I am where I'm at right now. And it may not be where I want to be, but I'm thankful for what I have. I have accepted where I'm at, knowing that that acceptance brings a certain peace, but knowing that I'm going to do more. So I'm not sitting here saying, okay, if you're a single mom who's barely making it by, you should just accept that that's your lot in life. That's not what I'm saying, by any means. But more of I'm not going to make myself miserable because I'm not where I want to be. I accept where I'm at right now as my current set of circumstances. Okay? That's the acceptance part. That doesn't mean that I'm accepting that that's the way it will always be. Okay? I'm accepting that this is where I'm at right now, but I'm aspiring to more. I am working towards more. I may not be exactly where I want to be, but I'm not going to let that make me miserable, because here's the thing. Once you start allowing that misery to creep in, and that guilt and that self-recrimination and that judgment of yourself, and that, oh, I suck and everything's going to always be bad and I hate where I'm at. And it's so much negativity that it's almost impossible to see any type of positive life for yourself. And it is so crucial for us to keep a positive mindset that, it just is. You can't expect things to get better in your life if you are constantly berating yourself. If you are constantly feeling like you are never going to get anywhere, you're never going to have anything better, things are always going to suck for you, you're never ever going to be able to envision something better. You really aren't. That's when you get into that place where you sit there and you feel like you're stuck in this hole. And in this hole that you're in, you have this beautiful view of how everything else is for everyone else. They have the beautiful house, and they have the yard, and they have all these things that you're never going to have. And you feel like crap because here I am, I'm in this hole, and this hole is going to be my life for the rest of my life. This is where I'm going to be. I'm going to be here, always looking at what other beautiful people have, but none of that is ever going to be mine. And that is a horrible, dismal feeling, because as you're feeling that, your hole just gets deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And it seems more and more and more impossible for you to get that beautiful life that you're envisioning other people have. So positivity is so key. You have to remember that I may not be where I want to be right now, but I'm going to be happy for myself and happy for my family, because as bad as it is, someone else definitely has it worse, and somebody else has it worse than them, and somebody else has it worse than them. So, always see the positive things in your life, because that is how you are going to bring about more positive things for yourself. So instead of asking for forgiveness, because I don't feel that you need forgiveness, you don't need to forgive yourself, right? If you feel that you've done things in your past, if there are certain actions in your life that you feel you need forgiveness for, fine. Find forgiveness for those specific things. But you do not need to forgive yourself for your current set of circumstances. Okay? It really is. It's an acceptance of yourself. I accept myself. I accept who I am. I accept my life. And now I am going to work towards that goal or that future that I want for myself and my kids. I accept that this is the way things are right now, but that doesn't mean that I accept that that's how it's always going to be. Okay? I don't feel the need to forgive myself because I haven't gotten the house for myself and my kids that I want right now. Okay? I accept that my current set of circumstances will not allow me to buy a home. So now what I'm going to do is work my ass off to change my current set of circumstances so that I can get that house that I want for me and my kids. But I'm not going to sit there and dwell and make myself miserable and unhappy because right now I can't do exactly what I want to do. And none of that has anything to do with forgiveness. I don't need to forgive myself for that. I just need to say, okay, this is not exactly how I want it to be. It sucks a little bit. Sucks a lot. But that doesn't mean that that's how it's always going to be. But none of that has anything to do with the simple set of circumstances that I am a single mom. There are lots of single moms out there that are amazingly successful. There are lots of single moms out there that are ridiculously wealthy. And the only thing is that they didn't dwell on where they were. They worked towards that better goal. And never once were they judging themselves. Were they thinking, I need to forgive myself for being a single mom? You don't need to forgive yourself for being a single mom. You need to revel in the fact that you're a single mom. You need to be happy with who you are. And that doesn't mean that you have to say, I'm going to be single forever. If you feel the need to have someone in your life, great. At some point, hopefully you meet that person and they become a part of your life and they increase the value of your life. But never should you expect that they fill a void. There shouldn't be a void. The key to being happy and being successful as a single mom is to be able to feel like you're happy as you are. Not, if only I was thinner, I'd be happier. If only I had a man, I'd be happier. Because expecting somebody else or something else to make you happy, that's never going to work. It's never, ever going to work. Because things and people can come and go. You can find somebody who makes you extremely happy and they fill that void and oh my gosh, things are so wonderful now because this man came into my life and he made everything all better. And then the second things don't work out, you're now completely miserable. Things are horrible again, and you now have this void again. I don't feel that I have a void for that specific reason, because I am happy with who I am. I'm happy with the life that I have. Again, always envisioning bigger and better things for myself and my family, but that doesn't mean that I'm miserable in my current circumstances. I'm happy with where I'm at. And so if someone does come along, all they're going to do is add to that happiness. I'm not looking for someone to complete me. I'm complete by myself. I am complete and I am whole by myself. I'm looking for someone to enhance me. Right? I'm looking for somebody to add to the happiness I have. And if they were to leave, I'm sure I would be unhappy, but I would never be unhappy with myself. I might be sad that they're gone, but that wouldn't change the fact that I'm still happy with who I am. And I think that that's where that, again, not forgiveness of myself, but just acceptance of myself. I'm accepting myself. I am fully accepting and loving myself and who I am and where I'm at, knowing that things are only going to get better and better from here. I think that's what I feel is so key and so important for moms to find that success for themselves. You know, you're never going to move forward in your life if you are always constantly judging yourself, right? Like, how are you going to feel better if you're constantly judging yourself? If you're constantly your own worst enemy? And I think we always are, right? We're always our own worst enemy. So instead, you know, try and turn that around so that you are putting more positive out there. Be positive for yourself, for your kids, for your family, for your life. Don't ask for forgiveness of anybody, right? Don't ask for forgiveness of anybody. Just ask for acceptance of yourself. And if you feel that for yourself, then the rest of the world be damned. Because you will be making your own way, your own path, and you're not going to feel bad because you're missing something, right? You're just going to know that it's something that you want and you're going to work towards it. But not having it is never going to make you feel like less of a person. So I really hope that this was helpful in some way. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a licensed, anything. I just know that these are the things and the mentalities that have really helped me to stop struggling and stop fighting against myself, like literally beating myself up. I hate any time I ever beat myself up because it happens. You're gonna catch yourself doing it. But because that's just human nature, unfortunately. We are, like I said, we're our own worst enemy. We're our own worst critic, right? So instead, once you find yourself doing that, just catch yourself and go, God, I'm not going to go down that path. I'm not going to spiral down into that. I'm not going to fall into that trap. I'm not going to put myself in that hole looking up at all the beautiful people and the things in the world. I'm not going to be in that hole. That's not where I'm at. That's not where I want to be. It's not who I am. And you catch yourself, and then you find that way to just find that acceptance within yourself, and then find the positivity and the forward movement that you need, right? So don't ask for forgiveness. I don't feel you need to be forgiven for being a single parent. There's nothing to forgive, okay? That's just your current set of circumstances. I really, really hope that this helped, that you got something out of it, that it meant something to you. If it did, and if you enjoyed it, please feel free and comment below. I would love to hear your feedback, your questions, your take on it, any, thoughts that you had throughout this process. I hope that you enjoyed it, and we will talk to you again soon. See you next week.